Have you ever stopped and thought, wait, could the vegetables I've always trusted be quietly working against me? Sounds strange, I know. We've spent our whole lives believing that vegetables, especially the leafy, colorful ones, are the gold standard of healthy eating. Doctors, magazines, nutrition classes, they've all told us, eat more veggies. The greener the better. Load your plate up. And most of us did exactly that, thinking we were doing something great for our bodies. But what if I told you that, as we age, some of those good-for-you vegetables might not be so good anymore? Let's take a moment here. Have you noticed after certain meals, especially those filled with healthy greens, you feel off? Maybe your stomach's tighter than usual. You feel bloated, tired, a little sluggish. Your joints ache more than they did yesterday. Your blood pressure creeps up for no obvious reason. And you start to wonder, is this just what getting older feels like? Well, maybe not. See, one of the most overlooked parts of healthy aging is this: your body changes. What you easily digested in your 30s or 40s may no longer sit well in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. The same foods that once nourished you might now irritate you. And here's the surprising truth. Some vegetables, yes, the very ones you probably have sitting in your fridge right now, might be the culprits. They're not exotic or rare. They're not junk food. They're the ones you thought were helping. But here's the thing. Not all vegetables are created equal, and not all are suitable for every stage of life, especially not for older adults. So today, we're going to talk about something no one really tells you: 5 vegetables seniors might want to avoid. These aren't just bland nutrition facts or fads. This is real, practical information that could help you or someone you love feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because every bite you take should support your body, not make it work harder than it needs to. And don't worry, I'm not here to take away your favorites without giving you options. In fact, we're also going to go over what to eat instead, so you still get meals that are delicious, comforting, and nourishing without the after-meal struggles. And hey, if you're here because you care about aging well, whether it's for yourself, your partner, or your aging parents, you're in the right place. We built this channel, Elderly Active Living, to help people just like you navigate the small but meaningful changes that can make this stage of life not only healthier, but happier. So before you take another bite of that so-called healthy veggie, stay with me. This next 10 minutes might just change the way you look at your dinner plate forever. Let's get started. Part 1. Cruciferous vegetables. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest surprises when it comes to vegetables, those leafy greens we've been told our whole lives are good for us. Broccoli, cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts. All part of the cruciferous family. They sound healthy, they look healthy, and for some people, they absolutely are. But for many older adults, these veggies can become a bit of a digestive nightmare. Let me explain. See, cruciferous vegetables contain a natural sugar called raffinose. It's not something most people think about, heck. You probably haven't even heard of it. But here's the catch. Raffinose isn't easily broken down by our digestive system, especially not as we get older. Our bodies slow down, stomach acid levels drop, and those helpful enzymes that used to break down complex sugars, they're just not working as efficiently anymore. So when you eat a big serving of steamed broccoli or a hearty helping of sautéed cabbage, your body has to work overtime to process it. And often, it just can't keep up. What happens next? Bloating, gas, that heavy, uncomfortable feeling in your belly that just doesn't go away for hours. You might feel unusually tired after a meal, or even a little foggy. And the worst part is, it's sneaky. Most folks don't realize it's their vegetables causing the problem. They think, well, maybe I ate too fast, or maybe I'm just getting older. But the truth might be sitting right there on the dinner plate. And it doesn't stop at digestion. Cruciferous vegetables also contain goitrogens compounds that can interfere with your thyroid function. Now, if you're someone who already has a sluggish thyroid or are on medication for it, these veggies might be working against you without you even knowing it. You might notice subtle changes, gaining weight a little faster, feeling colder than usual, or just dragging through the day. It's not always easy to connect the dots, but trust me, they're there. So, does this mean you have to give up broccoli or kale forever? Not necessarily, but it does mean you might need to change how you prepare them. Here's the good news. Lightly steaming cruciferous vegetables helps reduce some of the hard-to-digest compounds. It makes them gentler on your stomach and less likely to cause those uncomfortable side effects. And you can always experiment with smaller portions, see how your body reacts. Or, if you want to play it safe, consider switching them out altogether. Try spinach instead. It's softer, easier on the gut, and still packed with nutrients. Zucchini is another great choice, light, versatile, and kind to your system. And don't underestimate the power of a good, well-cooked carrot. It might not be trendy, but it's gentle, delicious, and loaded with health benefits. Here's the bottom line. Vegetables are supposed to make you feel good, not worse. They should energize you, support your health, and leave you satisfied, not bloated, tired, or achy. So if you've been doing all the right things, but still feel a little off after meals, maybe it's time to take a closer look at those leafy greens. Your body is wiser than you think. It speaks in small signs. We just have to learn how to listen. Part 2. Canned tomatoes. Now let's talk about something that might be sitting in your pantry right now. Canned tomatoes. They're in your sauces, your soups, your stews. They're convenient, flavorful, and Hiva says tomatoes are good for the heart, right? Well, not always. See, here's where things get a little tricky. There's a big difference between a fresh, ripe tomato straight from the garden and a tomato that's been sitting in a metal can for months, maybe even years. Let's break it down. Canned tomatoes are often packed with added salt. And we're not talking just a pinch. Many canned tomato products are loaded with sodium not just for flavor, but also as a preservative to extend shelf life and maintain texture. And for older adults, this kind of hidden salt can quietly chip away at your health. Here's what too much sodium does. It makes your body retain water. That extra fluid increases the pressure in your blood vessels. And over time, that means higher blood pressure, a heavier load on your heart, and added strain on your kidneys. Maybe you've felt it a little more swelling in the ankles, headaches that come and go, or that feeling of being tired even when you haven't done much. These things add up. And the culprit might be that so-called healthy tomato sauce. But salt isn't the only problem. Most traditional canned goods are lined with a chemical called BPA, or bisphenol A. Now, BPA helps keep the can from corroding, but it doesn't just stay put. It can leach into the food, especially acidic foods like tomatoes. And here's the thing about BPA. It's been linked to hormone disruptions, increased inflammation, and even potential risks for certain cancers. For younger, healthy people, the body might handle it okay. But for seniors who often have slower metabolisms and more sensitive systems, BPA exposure can do more harm than you'd expect. So if you've been dealing with unexplained joint pain, acid reflux that just won't settle down, or sudden blood pressure spikes, it might be time to take a closer look at those canned goods. Now, don't worry. This isn't about cutting out tomatoes altogether. Tomatoes are a wonderful food when they're fresh. rich in antioxidants like lycopene, good for your skin, your eyes, and your heart. So the goal here isn't to scare you away from them, it's to help you choose the right kind. Here's what you can do. Swap canned tomatoes for fresh ones. Slice them, dice them, stew them yourself. Yes, it takes a few extra minutes, but your body will thank you. Or, if convenience is non-negotiable, look for tomatoes that are packed in BPA-free packaging with no added salt. These versions are becoming more widely available and are a safer option for everyday use. And don't forget, always read the label. If the ingredients list is longer than a recipe, or you see words you can't pronounce, it's time to put it back on the shelf. Because food shouldn't just be fast, it should be safe, nourishing, kind to your body. So the next time you're at the grocery store and your hand reaches for that old familiar can of tomatoes, pause, look closer. Ask yourself, is this really what I want to feed my heart? It's a small change, but sometimes those small changes make the biggest difference. Part 3. Pickled, fermented vegetables. Let me ask you something. Do you or someone in your family love a good crunchy pickle? Maybe some sauerkraut on a hot dog? A few bites of kimchi with dinner? That sharp, tangy flavor that makes everything taste a little more alive? Well, if you're nodding your head right now, you're not alone. Pickled and fermented vegetables have become popular, again celebrated for gut health, probiotics, and flavor. But here's the catch. Not all pickled vegetables are created equal. And for older adults, some of these so-called healthy options might be doing more harm than good. Let's take a closer look. Many of the pickled vegetables you find in the grocery store, those jars of cucumbers, peppers, carrots, are packed in heavy brine. That brine? It's basically salt water and vinegar. And we're not talking a sprinkle of salt, we're talking a lot. A single serving of pickled vegetables can contain hundreds of milligrams of sodium. And let's be honest, most of us don't stop at just one serving. So what's the problem? Well, high sodium intake can raise your blood pressure, cause your body to retain excess fluid, and put added strain on your heart and kidneys. If you've noticed swelling in your ankles, feeling puffy, or more frequent trips to the bathroom, sodium might be to blame. And over time, this kind of chronic salt overload can increase the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and kidney issues, quietly, slowly, without you realizing it. But there's another layer to this. There's a big difference between naturally fermented vegetables like traditional kimchi or homemade sauerkraut and store-bought, industrially pickled ones. Natural fermentation relies on beneficial bacteria. These foods support your gut, help digestion, and even boost immunity. But the pickled veggies on most grocery store shelves, they're not fermented. They're just soaked in vinegar and salt. They don't have probiotics. They don't help your digestion. And for seniors, they often bring more risk than reward. So how can you still enjoy these bold flavors without compromising your health? Here are a few better choices. Make your own fermented vegetables at home. It's easier than you think. All you need is clean jars, chopped veggies, filtered water, and a bit of sea salt. Let nature do the work. Or look for store-bought brands that clearly say naturally fermented and no added vinegar or live cultures. These will usually be found in the refrigerated section, not on the shelf. Watch the salt. Even natural ferments can be high in sodium, so keep portions small and pair them with potassium-rich foods like bananas, spinach, or sweet potatoes to balance things out. Let me tell you about Mr. Jenkinson of our elderly active living viewers. At 78, he loved pickles, ate them daily, but he started noticing his energy dropping, his blood pressure creeping up, and his ankles swelling. His doctor suggested cutting back on salt, and guess what? Just 2 weeks after switching to homemade low-sodium kimchi, his numbers improved. And he still got that crunch he loved without the crash. See, you don't have to give up flavor to protect your heart. You just have to be a little smarter about where that flavor's coming from. Because your meals should support your health, not sabotage it. So next time you reach for that jar of pickles, pause for a second. Read the label. Think about how your body's been feeling. Ask, is this nourishing me or wearing me down? A small question. A big impact. Part 4. White potatoes. Let's talk about something comforting, something classic. Mashed potatoes. Whether it's Sunday dinner, Thanksgiving, or just a quiet evening at home, a warm scoop of mashed potatoes has a way of bringing us back to family meals, home-cooked love, simpler times. It's familiar, it's tradition. But what if I told you that those creamy white potatoes, while tasty and nostalgic, might not be the best choice for your health as you age? Now, I know. This one stings. Potatoes feel like the least offensive food on the planet. They're not deep-fried. They're not covered in sugar. They come from the ground, for goodness sake. But here's the hidden truth. White potatoes are packed with simple starches, and those starches break down quickly into sugar once they hit your digestive system. That means every time you eat mashed potatoes, your blood sugar spikes fast. It's almost like having dessert with dinner without realizing it. And if you're living with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or even mild insulin resistance, which becomes more common after 60, that spike can leave you feeling exhausted, foggy, or even irritable a few hours later. Sound familiar? You know that mid-afternoon slump after lunch? That heavy feeling in your head or body? That could be your blood sugar crashing after a high. And here's something most people don't know. White potatoes have a higher glycemic index than many desserts. Yes, really. They raise your blood sugar faster than a slice of cake. And over time, this roller coaster up, down, can increase the risk of serious health issues like type 2 diabetes, memory problems, weight gain, fatigue, cardiovascular complications. So, do you have to say goodbye to potatoes forever? Not at all. The key is choosing smarter alternatives that give you that warm, satisfying comfort without the metabolic side effects. Here are 2 great swaps. Sweet potatoes. They're naturally sweet, but much lower on the glycemic index. They digest more slowly, help stabilize blood sugar, and provide extra fiber and vitamins like beta-carotene. Mashed cauliflower. Steam it, mash it, add a little olive oil, garlic, maybe a sprinkle of parmesan, and you've got a dish that feels indulgent but treats your body kindly. Plus, cauliflower is low-carb, anti-inflammatory, and full of antioxidants. One of our elderly active living viewers, Helen, shared her story. She was feeling sluggish and foggy almost every afternoon. Her doctor couldn't find anything wrong. But when she swapped out her daily mashed potatoes for mashed cauliflower and roasted sweet potatoes, the change was incredible. More energy, sharper focus, even her sleep improved. Sometimes the smallest swaps lead to the biggest wins. So, the next time you're preparing a comforting dinner, just ask yourself, is this giving me energy or taking it away? You deserve meals that nourish you, that power your day, that help you feel steady, strong, and clear. Because aging well isn't about giving things up, it's about making choices that support the version of you you're becoming. And with every small stipevery potato swapped, every sugar spike avoided, you're creating a future that feels as good as it tastes. Part 5. Eggplant. Picture this. It's Sunday evening. The kitchen smells amazing. You've just pulled a bubbling tray of eggplant parmesan out of the oven cheesy. Golden, rich, It's one of your family's favorites. Feels like home, doesn't it? But then, something changes. An hour after dinner, your spouse leans back in their chair, looking pale. Their stomach feels unsettled. Their joints ache a little more than usual. They just don't feel quite right, but neither of you can quite put a finger on why. Could it really be the eggplant? Well, believe it or not, yes, it could. Eggplant belongs to a family of vegetables called nightshades. That includes tomatoes, bell peppers, white potatoes, and yes, eggplant. These vegetables are often praised for their nutrients, but they also contain a naturally occurring chemical called solanine. Now, solanine isn't harmful to everyone. In small amounts, many people process it just fine. But for seniors, especially those with arthritis, digestive issues, or chronic inflammation, solanine can be a quiet troublemaker. Let's break it down. For your joints, solanine may increase inflammation, leading to stiffer knees, swollen fingers, or aching hips. If you already deal with arthritis, nightshades like eggplant can trigger flare-ups. For your stomach, solanine can irritate the digestive tract, especially in people with sensitive guts. That can mean bloating, cramping, or just feeling off after a meal. For your energy and mood, when your body is quietly fighting inflammation, it drains your energy. Some people even report feeling more sluggish or foggy after eating nightshades regularly. The problem is, most of us don't notice the connection right away. You feel stiff one day, tired the next. Maybe your stomach doesn't settle after dinner, but you blame it on age, on the weather, on bad sleep. Rarely do we look at the eggplant. And why would we? It's a vegetable. It's in cookbooks. It's in grandma's recipes. It's in restaurants with 5-star reviews. But for some aging bodies, even healthy foods can become harmful if we don't listen to how we feel. So, what's the solution? First, pay attention. If you notice joint pain, digestive upset, or fatigue after meals that include eggplanter, other nightshadistry, keeping a food journal, look for patterns. Second, cook it well. Roasting or baking eggplant thoroughly can help reduce the solanine content. Avoid eating it raw or undercooked. Third, moderate your intake. You don't have to give it up forever, but if symptoms keep showing up, it might be time to swap it out. Some gentle alternatives? Zucchini, easy to digest and versatile in the kitchen. Cooked carrots or squash, naturally sweet, nourishing, and anti-inflammatory. Cauliflower, a low-inflammatory option that can be roasted, mashed, or turned into rice. At Elderly Active Living, we always say, food should make you feel better, not worse. So if eggplant is leaving you achy, bloated, or tired, trust your body, let go of the guilt, and choose what supports your health right now, not just what used to work 10 years ago. Because this journey of aging isn't about giving up, it's about growing wiser. And sometimes, wisdom looks like skipping the eggplant and smiling anyway. Part 6. Bell peppers. The surprising downside of bell peppers. You walk into the kitchen, and there it is, a colorful salad with crisp red and green bell peppers sliced on top. It looks fresh, vibrant, and healthy. That's what we've always been taught, right? The brighter the vegetable, the better. And bell peppers? Packed with vitamin C, right? Yes, but here's the thing. Not all that glitters is gold. For some older adults, bell peppers might be doing more harm than good, especially if you've been experiencing heartburn, acid reflux, or sensitive digestion. Why? Bell peppers, particularly the green ones, are naturally acidic and harder to digest. As we age, our stomach lining becomes more delicate. We produce less stomach acid and digestive enzymes, meaning our bodies work harder to break down tough, fibrous foods. If you've ever eaten a meal with peppers and felt a burning in your chest later that evening, bloating or discomfort in your upper abdomen, a bitter taste creeping up your throat at night, it may not be just aging or stress. It could be those colorful peppers sitting in your stomach longer than they should. And if you already deal with GERD or acid reflux, bell peppers can worsen those symptoms, causing inflammation, sleep disruption, and even appetite changes. The biggest misconception? People think peppers are veggies, and veggies are good. But again, context matters. Not every vegetable is suited to every body, especially a body that's been through decades of living. So, what's the solution? Oh, if you love the crunch and color of bell peppers, but they leave you feeling uncomfortable, try peeling and cooking them well. Roasted peppers are easier to digest than raw ones. Or, opt for ripe red or yellow peppers. They're gentler than green. Toe, still feeling the burn? Swap in cooked zucchini, steamed carrots, or boiled pumpkin. They bring color, nutrients, and comfort without the after-dinner regret. At Elderly Active Living, we believe that aging is about listening closely to your body's signals. If your plate is beautiful but your belly isn't happy, something needs to change. Bell peppers aren't bad, but for some, they might be too much, and that's okay. Part 7. Raw onions. Raw onions, a hidden gut aggravator. They add zing to a sandwich, punch to a salad, and depth to your burger. Raw onions are a kitchen favorite, and, for many years, they probably didn't give you a second thought. But now, that same onion might be turning every meal into a battle with your stomach. Let's talk about why raw onions can be a serious gut irritant for seniors. First, onions, especially rare, high in fructans, a type of natural carbohydrate that can cause gas, bloating, and discomfort. For seniors with slower digestion, IBS, or sensitive guts, fructans are like little time bombs in the belly. They ferment quickly, releasing gas and drawing water into the intestines. The result? You feel gassy, crampy, and unsettled, sometimes even hours later. Ever had a sandwich for lunch and felt fine? Until dinner? Raw onions might be the quiet culprit. Second, raw onions can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, which allows acid from your stomach to creep back up your throat. That means heartburn, sore throat, or even that nagging cough that seems to show up out of nowhere. You may think, but I've eaten onions my whole life. True, but your digestive system isn't what it used to be. And that's not failure, that's biology. So what's the fix? Cook them. Sautéed or roasted onions are gentler on the stomach. Cooking breaks down those tricky fructans, making onions easier to digest while still keeping the flavor. Adjuice the portion. If onions are a must, add just a sliver, not a pile. Try shallots instead, milder, sweeter, and often better tolerated. Or go onion-free. Use herbs like chives, fennel, or celery for flavor without the bloating. At Elderly Active Living, we remind you, every ingredient on your plate has a story. And sometimes, the things you love need to be adjusted not because they're bad, but because your body deserves peace and comfort with every bite. No food is worth a night of discomfort, bloating, or sleeplessness. So if raw onions are no longer your friend, that's okay. Let them go, and invite something gentler to the table. You deserve meals that nourish not just your body, but your joy. Small changes, big difference. Let's take a moment to breathe and reflect. Today, we explored 7 vegetables that, while often praised for their health benefits, may not be the best fit for aging bodies. Cruciferous greens, canned tomatoes, pickled veggies, white potatoes, eggplant, bell peppers, and raw onions. Surprising? Maybe. But important? Absolutely. Because here's the truth. Not every healthy food is healthy for everyone. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive, our digestion slows, our metabolism shifts. What once energized us might now leave us bloated, tired, or even in pain. And that's not because we're doing anything wrong, it's simply because our bodies are changing, asking us to pay closer attention. But that doesn't mean we need to fear food, or live in restriction, or give up the meals we love. It just means we need to adapt, gently, intentionally, respectfully. Instead of cutting out vegetables entirely, ask yourself, how do I feel after I eat this? Does my body thank me or struggle? Sometimes the answer isn't to throw it out, it's to cook it differently, eat a smaller portion, or switch to a gentler alternative. Steam your broccoli, choose fresh tomatoes. Make homemade low-sodium pickles. Try sweet potatoes or mashed cauliflower. Roast your eggplant well. Go light on the peppers. Sauté the onions. These are small shifts, but they carry a big impact. Because every bite should be a gift, not a guessing game. And listen, if you're watching this today, it means you care about your health, about your future, about feeling good in your body, not just surviving, but truly thriving as you age. That's powerful. That's inspiring. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Leave a comment below. Have you ever felt strange after eating one of these vegetables? Did a simple change in diet make a difference in how you felt? Your story could help someone else. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with a friend or family member, and hit that subscribe button for more simple, science-backed, and heart-led Get Answer Right here on Elderly Active Living. Together, we're building a space of wisdom, care, and community. Because getting older doesn't mean giving up on comfort, flavor, or joy. It means choosing better for your body, your energy, and your peace of mind. Thanks for watching, thanks for caring, and until next time, take care of yourself and each other.